I'm bored. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about my sexuality. I know you've all been waiting for this moment. No, I'm just kidding. Um, this is something that I do not talk about like at all. And I haven't, I do not talk about this at all. Like with my therapist, I talk about pretty much everything with them. And this is something I don't talk about. I think I've touched on it once or twice, and that's like recently. And I've been going to therapists since I was literally in kindergarten. So honestly, this is one of those things that I don't really want to talk about. So I'm going to talk about it. Um, Partly because I don't have it figured out yet. I'm so unclear on it. Um, so where do I start? Um, on the outside, I certainly appear to be straight, and I do love the men. Um, my feelings toward women and others, a little more complicated. And I have always been I'm very much, I guess I would consider myself an ally to the LGBTQIA2 plus community. So to have any misgivings about being gay or anywhere on the spectrum would appear very strange considering my history. And that's just it. I'm somewhere on the spectrum. And for years now, I've sort of considered myself, or I've some once in a while referred to myself as being on the quote queer spectrum. I'm somewhere on the spectrum. I'm somewhere on the Kinsey scale. Definitely not all the way to the straight side. But what makes it so complicated is that, well, first of all, I didn't really understand, I guess you could call it bisexuality or pansexuality. I didn't quite understand the nuances of it because when I thought of bisexuality, I thought you like men 50%, you like women 50%, and you like men exactly the same way you like women and vice versa. But that's not the case with me. I like men in a very specific kind of way, and I like women in a very different kind of way. I've never been in a relationship with anything other than men. And the vast majority of my sexual experiences have been with men. I consider men to be my favorite, my preference. I want to marry a man. I want to spend my life with a man. But the woman thing is definitely there and cannot be ignored. And that's difficult. I read somewhere that, all those statistics saying that LGBTQ people have very high suicide rates. Please don't hurt me if this isn't true, but I read that a lot of those suicide attempts and successful suicide attempts have been from bi people. And that's sort of underreported because it's sort of, they group it in that, general LGBTQ umbrella. And I guess people tend to think, oh, well, if you're gay, then you're more likely to self-harm. Well, what the article was, and I wish I could remember what it was. What the article was saying was it's the bi people that have the biggest struggle. And I was like, boy, I totally understand why, because at least in my personal life, the bi thing is very unclear and confusing. I had my ex-fiance, who was a guy, and he sort of uncovered my bi-ness. And it was so weird that I had come this far without realizing how bi I actually was. And he wasn't the nicest about it. It was like he was always uncovering it. He was always trying to catch me in bi-ness and stuff. Probably because of his own insecurities about whatever. But he got me to talk about it more than I had ever talked about it before and to kind of name it. And, he kept trying to make me come out as gay. And I was saying, no, I'm really not gay. Like, I'd be shocked if I were gay because, gee, for someone who loves dudes as much as I do, that would be very odd if I were gay. And also, that would make things so simple. If I was just gay, it would be so easy just to be gay and be done with it and be like, well, sorry, you're a nice dude, but it's not going to work out. I'm so gay. But it wasn't that simple. Because I'm in this weird in-between place, I couldn't just say, nope, sorry, I'm gay, it's over. It was like, no, I still love you, I'm still attracted to you, but I still have this other attraction to women. And I think that's when I read that thing about bi people being more likely to harm themselves. It's like, oh, I totally understand, because it's so hard to live a life where you're kind of, I don't want to say confused, but the borders, the parameters aren't as clear cut as they are with either being straight or being gay or asexual. Not to say that those other people don't, other groups don't have their own issues and stuff, but, the whole bi thing is very underplayed. There's a reason why they call it bi erasure. But it's just so funny because I've been so immersed in the community and stuff up to this point that, I didn't even recognize it in myself. I was going through, I was cleaning out my parents' house, and I was, my childhood home. And so I was going through all this stuff that I hadn't touched, since maybe I was like 10 years old or something. So I was finding all these papers and stuff that I had done, like art and stuff I had done as a kid and had saved in my closet. And I found this one picture, and I feel like I have a picture of it somewhere. I don't know if I kept it, but I had to crack up at myself because it said something like, I'm in love with Susie. I don't know. That's not her real name or something. I can't remember who it was, but it was like kind of a pretty clear declaration of love, liking, attraction, or whatever to a female classmate. And there might have even been like a declaration for a boy as well, or I don't know. It was weird. And I was thinking, oh my God, like my parents didn't see this and think, oh my God, we got a lesbian on our hands. Because it was very, red hearts and everything, very explicitly like, I love Susie. And then I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Because I used to have these weird like entanglements with female classmates. Not that anything would happen like sexually or anything like that, but I would get in these weird sort of triangles with me and two other girls. So there would be this one girl that I would like, and I didn't think of it as liking because I definitely liked boys that early, and it was very clear to me, oh, I'm attracted to these boys. But with the girls, it didn't feel the same. It didn't feel like, oh, I'm attracted to these girls. But there was definitely something drawing me to these girls, and I thought they were so pretty, and I wanted to be just like them. And then there would be this other girl who would also be, I don't know if the other girl liked the girl too, but definitely we were like tussling, trying to win the affections of this girl, essentially trying to be her best friend. But it was very like weird love triangle sort of dynamic between me and these other girls. And these other girls, the girls that I'm fighting with, I mean, we would literally fight for this other girl's affection or attention. And very odd. And yeah, I would definitely, like, I was rewatching like He-Man and She-Ra and stuff, and like, I'll be damned if I wasn't attracted to both He-Man and She-Ra as a kid. I mean, hell yeah, have you seen them? To see both of them, I was like, they are both very attractive to me, watching it as a grown-up. And I know as a kid, I was definitely like feeling them as well. I mean, anywhere on TV, you'll have attractive people of the mainly subscribed to genders, and so it's just a smorgasbord for the pan and the bi people. We're like, we like everybody. But I wasn't even realizing that was an attraction. I guess I just thought, oh, they're pretty. But I don't know. And it's funny because I feel like, gee, I must really be bi because I can't even imagine what it's like not to be bi. Like my therapist told me once, I said to my therapist, well, anyone can be an actor. And she's like, no, that's not true. And the reason why you think that is because that's your talent. And so you assume that everyone else can do it as well because it comes so naturally to you. So I don't really understand what it's like to not be attracted to everybody. That sounds weird. I'm not saying I'm literally attracted to everyone, but like, I just assumed, oh, I just think she's pretty. And I assumed everyone else would feel the same way. And if they weren't somehow able to admit that, a man or a woman was pretty, it was because they were suppressing, their feelings and denying themselves or whatever. But I don't know. Maybe there are people who can watch He-Man and She-Ra and they're just attracted to She-Ra or they're just attracted to He-Man. But that didn't occur to me. I thought everyone must be like this. But no, I think and I'm just realizing that now at this point in my life, that's the bi-ness and the pan-ness coming through. And it just kept, I can think of so many incidents, so many examples, and it's like, duh, how did you not realize it? Like 7th grade came along and we were reading Changing Bodies, Changing Lives for our sex ed. And oh my God, that book was like porn to me because it was like showing all this, showing all this nudity and stuff. And there would be all these stories about, we were, oh, who was that? We were, in a sleepover and, we started making out with each other and I'm like, what sleepover is this? Like, and where do I find them? I was not making out with my friends or anything like that. Yeah. And that's the thing. So my attraction to women is so specific. Like I've never, like probably a lot of gay and bi people, I've never fallen in love with a friend. I've never been really attracted to people I know personally, with some exceptions, like those classmates. But like, coming up on puberty and stuff, I was always looking for a boyfriend. And I wouldn't say that I was suppressing the desire to look for a girlfriend. I just didn't see girls that way. But keep in mind, I'm looking at Changing Bodies, Changing Lives like it's porn and looking at all the pictures of the naked girls and stuff, and not really looking at the pictures of the naked boys. That's the thing. My attraction to women once in a while is an emotional attraction, but the vast majority of the time it's a sexual attraction to women, whereas with men, it was mostly an emotional attraction to men with some incidents of being sexually attracted to men. So the thing is, it's kind of like how I feel about dogs and cats. Like, I love every cat. I love, actually it's not the same. Never mind. It's similar in that there are these weird, like, in between, like, there's these weird mutually exclusive areas of attraction or liking. Like with cats, I love all cats. Every single cat. Well, except the hairless ones are weird, but they're still really sweet and adorable in many ways. But I love every cat I see. I like dogs. I've got a dog. I don't love every dog. I don't have this universal love of dogs. Some dogs, I mean, I'll cherish them if they were mine, and I'll protect them at all costs and stuff. But I don't love every dog. But I love every cat. So it's kind of like I am generally sexually attracted to all women. It kind of doesn't matter who. If you show me a naked lady, I'll be like, yes, that's cool. I'm not sexually attracted to all men, though. But I love me some men. And there are definitely men that I am sexually attracted to, especially if I'm emotionally involved, invested in them, then the sexual attraction, like, goes through the roof, especially if he's hot. And so I can spend a lot of time with men where I can be emotionally with the man and physically with the man, and that's great. But there's always this sort of like needling, there's this, it's my orientation. There's this feeling of, I still need to be with a woman sexually, which sucks because it's like, well, it sucks for a lot of reasons because I don't want to, let's say I am in a serious relationship with a man, monogamous relationship. I don't want to cheat. I consider it cheating to dabble in the lesbian arts, if I'm with a guy. And also, I think it's harder to come by a woman who's just looking to fool around because, there's a stereotype that often proves true where women get very emotionally involved if there's sexual contact, the U-Haul thing. I feel like I'm using some woman if, I, interacted with her and was like, okay, I've had my fill, bye, and just go back to the man. I mean, that's why lots of people don't fuck with bisexuals in general of any gender because, there's that fear. And, excuse me, in my case, I think that's a legitimate fear. I mean, yeah, I could state explicitly, like, this is what I'm interested in and, this isn't going to be serious or whatever. Although, who knows? I mean, I haven't had a lot of sexual experience with women, so I don't know. Maybe it could blossom into something more, but I find that very unlikely. But yeah, I mean, I guess I could explicitly state, yes, I'm just going to be fucking around with you and then I'm done and then I'm going, back to the penis land and, so, but I don't know, maybe someone's okay with that, but I don't know. And the thing is, and it's so weird to say this, but like, I'm a little, because I don't have a lot of experience with women or like next to none, I'm a little freaked out by it. I'm a little grossed out by it. The penis is just so straightforward. What can I say? I sort of understand, men who are squeamish about going down on a woman. I'm so sorry, ladies. Yeah, there's a lot going on down there, and so it's intimidating. I'm not going to say, oh, it's gross and it's terrible and you should only blow me and not the other way around because you're an asshole. But I can see the intimidation factor of pleasuring a woman. I don't know. I guess I'd be like a pillow princess or something, and that just seems so wrong. But I guess there are people who like people like that. I don't know. We'll cross that bridge. Not that I'm crossing any bridges now, with social distancing, but yeah, it's complicated, and I just wish I could like have everything with one gender. And then there are the other genders and non-binary and all that stuff. I mean, I consider myself pan because I think pretty much anyone's attractive or anyone has the potential to be attractive. Not everyone is attractive to me, but any sort of iteration, expression, gender expression, whatever you want to call it, I think everyone's attractive. Am I going to pursue a relationship with everybody? No, I don't think so. Am I going to have sex with everybody? No, I don't think so. But I definitely find everyone attractive in their own way. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Well, it's just the beginning of my journey. I finally put a name to it, really, so we're just getting started.